not sending me a code. So we should be live now. Yes, we're live.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome. It's Laura. And today I am joined by someone very special that I'm super excited to have here, Stefania. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me. My name is Stefania, as you said. I am one of the health coaches at the Metabolic Optimization Health Program. So yeah, I work one-on-one with clients who are, looking for really individualized approach and to sort of learn how to be their own metabolic detective.
So great. Thank you for joining us. So what we've done is ask some of you in the community for some questions about how you can kind of take, if you're on Metabolic Renewal, or really any of our programs, but most of you are on Metabolic Renewal, and take it kind of to the next level. And kind of some of you wanted to really 10x your, I guess is the expression, that sounds silly, but you know what I mean, your results, and just make it really individualized for you. So I'm going to ask some of these questions that we've had, and Stefania will do her best to answer them. So like the first question you guys asked, which is really so sweet, we get this all the time, is do you have to like do the plan exactly?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it makes sense, right? You're following this 12-week program and there is, structure there. And then once that ends, it can feel a little bit scary. And so this, it makes sense that people are thinking about what to do next. And I think this is a really great opportunity for people to recognize how far they've come, and everything that they've learned about their body and their biofeedback clues. And so all of that information is really yours for life. And so you have that, and now you can build on that moving forward. And so to answer your question, no, you don't. You can certainly use it as a structure or a jumping off point. But the idea is that you now have the skills and the capability to tweak it and make it your own. And you can do this forever. So we have this concept that we teach our clients called the Bruce Lee effect. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. Yeah, which is absorb what is useful, discard what isn't, and add what is uniquely your own. And I'm sure all of you have been doing that. And so the idea is that you're creating your own approach, and you will continue doing that after the program's over. So just ask what works for you, what doesn't, use the tools you learned, adjust, test, and just, have fun with it, create your own individualized approach, because you have the experience now. So just trust that process, trust yourself. You have learned a lot about your body. Like I said, those biofeedback clues, plus, check in with exercise performance, exercise recovery, libido, menses, digestive function, like all of those things can indicate that you're, progress. And so the only rule is to tweak and adjust and change and find an approach that works for you. And then continue to measure and track meaningful metrics to you to ensure that you are moving in the right direction.
That's great. And I'm going to, because of how well you answered that question, I'm going to actually kind of combine the next two questions we had, because one is really like what happens when your hormone type changes, like you go through menopause and your life has changed. And another one was, what if you have a hormonal condition like PCOS or endometriosis or something else? And I think both of those answers probably are kind of similar to what you said. So maybe, I mean, they're different, but they're totally different situations, but it's more about the life journey. And maybe you could talk a little bit about that again.
Yeah, also a really great question, because it's absolutely possible that within those 12 weeks that your metabolism will change, or, as you said, your hormone type might change if you do that assessment again, or you have transitioned, or you're in transition to menopause, and that's okay. So by design, there is flexibility in this approach, right? So each hormone type has a template, which isn't to say do this and only this forever. It's a jump off point, and the intention is to provide a starting structure. But the rest of the program's teaching points, which is SHMEC, the 4 M's, the 5-step process to get your HEC in check, all those, the AIM process, all of these things that you have learned, they provide the tools to allow you to adapt the program and make it your own. Any program, this one of course, but really just anything.
That's perfect. This is just a fun question.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
your
yeah.
favorite?
So, pardon?
Oh, do you want to talk about PCOS first or endometriosis? Yeah, we should do that.
No. What was your question? I'm sorry.
What's your favorite meal? I just like this one. I'm just curious. I love that this was asked because I like food, and I'm like, sure, I'll ask this. What do you like to eat? What's your?
Yeah, I do like food. I like it a lot. Well, so I have right now. There's two main things that I'm like absolutely in love with, and one's something I make at home, and the other one is an out meal or like a fast food meal, I suppose. So I guess I'll share both, but the one that I love to make at home and I make it every week is like a curry recipe. So I love like aromatic and like very spiced foods. And so like, and any coconut based curry is a big one for me. Like just love it. So yeah, but I love trying different curry recipes, whether they're meat based or vegetarian. Like I'm not biased. Like I just love curry. But yeah, it's the creaminess, the aromatic spices. It's like slightly sweet, and then it's like warming. I don't know. There's something about that combination. It's just amazing for me. And yeah, I eat it all year round, even in the summer when it's hot. Like, that's the other one. And then, so actually, the other favorite meal of mine is pizza. And I have to say, it's a very specific pizza that I've only seen here in the Balkans. I'm in Croatia, but it was also available in Montenegro. And it's a mortadella pesto pizza with like pistachios.
Oh,
I know it sounds so strange, and I probably would have never eaten it, except it's the most amazing, I don't know, pizza ever. It's not a tomato-based pizza, it's a pesto-based. It's so good. Like when the bread is good and the toppings are good. So those are my two favorite meals right now, but they do change.
Oh, those sound really good. You signed me up.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh gosh. I mean, right now, Bella and I both are on this like cheesy egg kick. Because I've been getting with throwing in whatever vegetables I'm getting from my local farmers. So I've been getting a lot of really, really good produce here that is literally like grown around the corner. And I've been getting eggs. I've been mixing up the eggs, duck eggs and regular eggs and whatever eggs I have, and just kind of having fun with that. I don't know if that's my favorite. Really, and then anything, oh gosh. That's hard. I don't, yeah. Oh, that was a really hard question, guys. I think just anything using seasonal produce that's local and I'm trying to eat as like local as possible that I can, and like cut out as many processed ingredients. Like I just learned that I love kohlrabi. Go figure. I learned that from my local markets, and I've been making like this kohlrabi mashed potato thing, and it's really good. And having it like sliced up and marinated, julienned into like stir fries and curries and things too. You can do that. It's fun. So
yeah. From your Instagram, I know like I can tell that you love cooking like fresh and local. You always have like so many tasty pictures of food on your Instagram. So
this is actually a good question, because this is also like a trigger for me. I guess it's a buffer food, trigger food thing. But then as we head into the summer, they ask for questions like how to stay on track over the summer, because people's schedule changes. I know for me, like I'm just like right now, I'm like, ooh, I have strawberries and I want to eat more and more strawberries, because I'm like, oh, they're limited to time, or peaches, whatever. That's just a food thing for me. But also just like life in the summer, you maybe have more pool time or whatever, that's lazy, like how to handle that without making your schmeck go out of check and everything.
Yeah, also a really great question. And I'll after this one, I'll talk about like the endometriosis and PCOS. If you like, if that's okay. But yeah, so I love when this happens, right? Like when basically like life throws you a curveball, and whether it's the seasons change or there's a pandemic or there's illness, like things happen, right? So it provides an opportunity to reevaluate our values, goals, and our priorities, right? As well as to give us the sort of ability to put like some reps in the tank in terms of overcoming challenges and building that resiliency and that mental strength. And so of course this can change, but first get clear on what you're willing and not willing to do at that time, right? It's different. Summer is different from spring, different from winter. So just get really clear on that first. And I would encourage people to be honest with themselves while also acknowledging the complexity and reality of your current, situation. So, be kind to yourself and compassionate, because, again, like I know we're talking about summertime, but this can be extrapolated to other circumstances where, things just don't go as planned. So there's no right or wrong answers. But, often when our behavior sort of doesn't align with what we think we should do, or doesn't align with the goals that we've made, we feel very torn and sometimes guilty or ashamed. And this is just because there's conflicting values at play. So should I exercise or, go to the beach with my family for the day? Like, we have these, we're conflicted because these seemingly conflicting values are in our mind, but this is normal and it happens to all of us, especially when we are making changes. So, just look at your behavior as reflecting your core values, your needs, even your identity, right? And your priority, and throw away the shoulds, just throw them away. And just, get really clear on how your values may shift at this time, like this summer, for example. And, once you get clear on that, it will be easier to prioritize and take action on the things that matter to you. And this can change, right? It can change, in August or in the fall. So essentially just match your approach to your current situation and be flexible, and definitely just be kind to yourself.
I think that's the biggest thing. And that's one thing we try to stress a lot, especially those of you in like the Facebook group. We talk all the time about being kind to others, but it's not just others, but yourself. And I think that's the hardest for some people to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we definitely can be hard on ourselves, especially when, again, like we've got these like, oh, I should do this, but I want to do this, right? So you feel very torn.
Don't shit all over yourself. Isn't that a quote or something?
It probably is. I haven't heard it. But...
I don't know. Maybe I just made it up. I don't
know. We can quote you on it.
Do you want to transition back and let's talk a little bit about hormonal conditions like PCOS and endometriosis and other things that might be impacting your day-to-day life and how you're succeeding on the program. And then we can kind of continue on.
Yeah. I think this is a really important question, because absolutely underlying health can impact how we feel or how motivated we are or how we show up, whether or not we prioritize our self-care. And so, especially with a condition where there's, chronic pain or persistent pain, it can make every day a challenge. So these conditions, or in the case of PCOS, where it's, not really a disease, but rather a constellation of symptoms, a range of symptoms that change over time. But these conditions may have a number of underlying causes and factors. So whether it's hormonal imbalance, immune dysfunction, inflammation, metabolic dysfunction. And in addition to that, there may be people experience many like combinations of these underlying causes, and then no two people are actually identical in their symptoms, right? So there's a lot of complexity here. The good news is that there is so much you can do to feel better. There's so much within your control. And so any condition that is impacted by hormones can be supported and managed by looking at the big picture and establishing the conditions for good health for you. So, when we, create that strong foundation that addresses these underlying factors, or, dietary and lifestyle issues that essentially affect the condition itself, especially diet, like that can be a big one. Then we actually can modulate hormone levels. We can decrease inflammation. We can address symptoms. We can regulate and balance hormones. So there's so much that you can do. And so like really just create a backdrop of support with diet and lifestyle interventions that are really tailored to you as an individual. I feel like I'm speaking to these, people. And this is where those tools that you learn from Metabolic Renewal will come in really handy. They can be applied here too. So use your biofeedback clues to guide you. But in addition to SHMEC, you might want to look at what else is meaningful for you to track. So for example, menses, pain, like, are you regulating, what's your libido look like? Fertility, biochemical features like insulin, or elevated androgens, polycystic ovaries. Like there's things that can also be monitored and measured in addition to SHMEC. But, essentially you have the process, right? You've been practicing it for, 12 weeks, let's say. So, but always listen to your body, work with a healthcare provider, create a strong support system, friends, family, healthcare providers from different disciplines. It's very important when it comes to chronic disease management in general to create this foundation, this really strong foundation. And Metabolic Renewal gives you the tools, has given you the tools and the template to do that, and has basically helped support in creating that foundation. But yeah, to summarize, emphasize lifestyle changes that affect your health, establish a strong support system, including psychological support. That's really important. And develop an approach that helps you rebuild quality of life for you.
And I will just take that to another level and add on and say that in our Facebook community, there's lots of other people who are going through not your personal experience, but they might have the same condition as you or have had something similar. So if you feel comfortable and want to talk about it, you'll find other people stepping up and saying and helping provide that support network in a digital space as well.
Yeah. It's great.
So okay, so this one, I like this one. What if I'm finished and I still feel like I want more? What could I do?
No, that's a great question. Really, there's really a couple of options. And, one of them is that you can rinse and repeat the program because, the rest-based approach of this program is really a brilliant design. And it allows the entire program to be repeated over and over again because it's flexible, meaning any person can modify it to suit their individual needs, personal preferences, physical capabilities. There's lots of sort of flexibility there. So, going into it a second or a third time, which, even I've done that myself, your metabolism will be different, but you can adapt the program accordingly. So, as an example, in case this is a little, too, abstract, you might find that you're resting less, doing more reps or lifting heavier, or maybe you're able to, get more reps in on those burnouts, right? So there's lots of ways to even track how you're progressing, still using that rest-based approach. But yeah, as humans, I know we all like novelty, we all like new. So this may not be an option for everyone to repeat the same program, or even like to do it more than a few times, and that's totally okay. So if that is important to you, that the novelty piece, then there are other programs even within metabolic living. And of course, there's also the Metabolic Optimization Health Coaching Program, right? So with this program that I'm a part of, it's very high touch. So meaning we work very closely with people in a one-on-one format, just, like you and I are chatting right now. But the great news is that a lot of the groundwork has already been established from completing metabolic renewal. So we continue to build on that. And then, as we help people to move closer towards their goals, maybe they have new goals, we can establish new ones, or it could be just about maintaining the lifestyle habits that they have, created and developed in this program. So essentially it's not a protocol, but we work on an individualized level. And it's very collaborative, right? So it's all about taking this groundwork to the next level, really, if I had to summarize it. But ultimately the choice depends on you and sort of like what you want. What are you looking for exactly? Like, is it accountability? Are you looking for something new, a different delivery system, group training, one-on-one? I think it's just a matter of checking with yourself and saying, like, what is it that you're wanting more of, to get back to the question.
I think that was great. And then our Metabolic Mastery Club is kind of in the middle, which offers additional workouts and things like that some people use to supplement. And if they want a little bit more accountability beyond the Facebook group. But actually the last question we were submitted, which is kind of a great way to end it, was how to stay accountable beyond the Facebook group for people who need more help. So I think, again, you maybe can talk about the Metabolic Optimization Coaching Program, and maybe if you have any other suggestions, because I think a lot of people have trouble holding themselves accountable at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, that's normal. And we see a lot of that. And that is, often when we ask our clients, what they're looking for when they join this program, the Metabolic Optimization Health Program, often we hear accountability. That comes up all the time. And being accountable to someone or something is significant. It can be even more powerful than some other motivational force. So, yeah, and really accountability just keeps you consistent, because you have to report to someone, right? And you have to report what you're doing or not doing. So, and really the consistency piece is so critical because, if we can't be consistent, it's really hard to make progress. Exercising one day a week is not going to be as impactful as exercising 3 days a week, right? So the consistency in these things is really key. But no one always feels motivated to go to the gym or to eat healthy, or to work out at home. Like I know, I certainly don't feel motivated all the time, right?
I don't either.
Yeah, it's completely possible too to know exactly what to do, right? Like a lot of these people are probably very knowledgeable about health and wellness. They know what they should do, but they still struggle with that consistency piece. And so, and that's totally okay. In fact, yeah, like I said, it happens to all of us, even myself. So really there's two key strategies, I suppose, for, getting and staying on track. And one of them would be to sort of change or like modify the way you commit. And I'll sort of elaborate on that in a second. And the second one is, just to become accountable to someone else. So that one's self-explanatory, but I'll still dive into that one a little bit. But yeah, so in terms of committing differently, right? That was the first one. You can commit to more, like go bigger, or commit smaller and, just sort of sort of scale things back a little bit. And that's either approach or a combination of approach can work really well. But the idea to go big and even bigger than yourself can be, an example could be to gamify a behavior or a change and get other people involved, make it a contest, who can make the most meals at home this week, or, something like that, where, it still plays on the accountability piece, but the idea is that you kind of you commit to more, and like in a big way. And then the commit to less is something that, I think works really well for a lot of people, especially because it's our human tendency to want to do more, like to always want to, bite off more than we can chew, so to speak. And, it's great to be that excited and want to do more, but sometimes it's just not manageable or feasible or realistic. So, just check in with yourself and just, quickly, like on a scale of, 1 to 10, like how confident, capable, willing, are you to do this thing that you want to do every single day? Like, can you do this every single day for like a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And if your answer is no, then what would like a step back from that goal look like? Like, how can you scale it back to the point where it feels almost too easy? What does that look like? And then make that the consistent daily practice until, again, it becomes so easy that you can take it into the next step. So it might be a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now where you get to build on it and take it to the next step. So it plays on the consistency, which, we know can help with the being accountable. So, and then of course the other option is you can do both, right? You can go big, do the group commitment thing, contest, whatever it looks like, plus a small daily commitment to yourself. And then you're kind of hitting it from both angles there. But, I would encourage everyone not to go halfway, just like go big or go small kind of thing, or both. But, the halfway, I think, is where people get a little stuck.
I think that was beautiful. Thank you. And I think the halfway thing is probably one of the biggest things I personally have observed from members of the Facebook communities and Metabolic Mastery Club as a common issue that keeps them feeling stuck and unable to go forward and succeed. So thank you. That was just a wonderful explanation. Do you have anything else you'd like to end on, maybe telling them how, if they want to connect with the Metabolic Optimization Coach, how they would do that? And then we'll call it a day or a night.
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, so absolutely, if you or if anyone's interested in reaching out regarding the Metabolic Optimization Health Coaching Program, then really the metabolicliving.com website is the best place to do that. All the information is there. You know, like all of the staff are very like friendly and personable. Like it's easy to get, yes, it's easy to get connected with anybody, and very responsive. So if there's any questions or they're looking for more information, that would definitely be the place to go. I would say is the.
I'll include the link when I share this, both of the YouTube posts that you were watching live. I'll make sure I add this into the description, and I'll have the link in the Facebook groups when I share this as well. So those of you at home who are looking, you don't have to even look, but it is just metabolicliving.com.
Yeah, super simple. Yeah, that's it. We like easy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. This was just wonderful. And I know I learned a bit, and it's a great reminder for me to reestablish some of my own goals and take myself easy, but also maybe push myself a little bit more. So thank you for joining me and just for everything.
Thank you.
All right.